Welcome to the This Mum Loves Tech podcast, the go-to show for female business owners who want to simplify tech and get the support they need to grow their online businesses with confidence. I'm Nicola Walsh, your podcast host. I'm also a mum to two cheeky boys and I love tech, so you don't have to. I'm here to share actionable tips, tools and strategies that will help you streamline your business and make the tech work for you. So whether you're watching after the kids have gone to bed or listening while on the school run, let's dive into today's episode and make tech that little bit easier. Hello and welcome to another edition of This Mum Loves Tech. Now, I'm going to be honest, this wasn't the episode I originally planned to share with you this week. I've got some fabulous guest interviews that I've recorded recently and I was excited to start sharing them with you. But then Microsoft had some other ideas. So last week, some new changes were announced around email authentication, and they're really important, especially if you're running your own business and sending marketing emails through an email marketing platform like MailerLite. So I've pressed pause on my original plan for today, and I'm going to chat through with you exactly what these changes mean and why you need to pay attention to them. But don't worry if that sounds super techy. I promise I'm going to break it down in simple, easy steps. So let's just get stuck in and talk about how you can keep your emails landed in your inboxes and not the spam folder. So let's start with just a little recap of what's already happened. Now, if you've listened to some of my previous episodes, you've probably heard me talk about domain authentication before. But let's just have a recap of exactly what it is that's happened. So in February of 2024, Google and Yahoo made big changes to their spam protection rules. These updates were all about making your inboxes safer and cutting down on spam and scan emails, which is great. We all need a inbox with less spam in. But it also meant that small business owners, just like us, had to take some extra steps to make sure that our emails actually land in people's inboxes. So in non-tech talk, what this basically means is you need to prove that you are the owner of the emails that you're sending. It's like showing your ID before you're allowed in at a bar or something like that. And this is done through 3 different records. First is the SPF record, and this is just a record that says something like MailerLite or whatever tool it is you're using is allowed to send emails on your behalf. The DKIM record, so DKIM, this is putting your signature on your emails as such so that the inboxes that are receiving it know that your email hasn't been tampered with. So it's basically saying, I've sent this email from this email address and it's getting to you from that same email address and it hasn't been tampered with on its way to you. The final record is a DMARC record, so that's DMARC. So this record, it basically tells the inboxes what to do if your email doesn't pass the checks. Should it be blocked? Should it be marked as spam? And basically, you need to ensure that your email address has those 3 records added to it, or your domain has those 3 records added to it. Now, I know it sounds scary, but the good thing is once you've got that set up, you don't need to think about it again. So let's talk a bit about how you actually get that set up. So you need 3 things. You need a domain name, so something like @yourbusinessname.co.uk. You then need a professional email address that uses your domain name. So you can't be using @Gmail or @Hotmail, @Yahoo. It needs to be something like hello@yourbusinessname.co.uk. And then you need an email marketing platform. I personally use MailerLite. It's brilliant because you can get started for free with 1,000 subscribers. And if you've heard my whole email marketing series, you'll know a lot about why I love MailerLite. But basically, once you've got those 3 things in place, you've bought your domain name, you set up an email address that uses that domain name, and you've then authenticated that domain in your email marketing platform by adding those records in. The good news is I've got some resources that are going to help you. So my free guide, Email Made Easy, walks you through those 3 steps in a lot more detail. I'll go you more information about how you can choose a domain, how you can set up a professional email address, and then what you need to do to authenticate your domain. So you can go to thismumlovestech/emails and you'll be able to get that guide. And if you would like some step-by-step videos showing you how to authenticate your domain in both MailerLite and Google Workspace, then my spam to sales training is what you need. It's £7, and what it does is it literally takes you through where you need to click, where you need to add the records. It's based on my domain and hosting provider, which is Hostinger, but the records and how you add them is the same no matter where you bought your domain from. And I've had lots of people go through this training now and set up their email accounts with it. Now, if you're not using MailerLite or Google Workspace, it's still a great training to just understand what the records look like and how you add them, because no matter what platform you're using, you'll have to add something similar. So to get my spam sales training, if you go to thismumlovestech/spam, you'll be able to purchase that training. So that's just a little bit of a recap of what has happened so far. But let's talk about what's new now that Microsoft have announced their changes. So up until now, those rules that I just spoke about, those 3 records, only applied to Gmail and Yahoo inboxes. But as of the 5th of May, Microsoft have now joined in the party. So that means if you have anyone on your marketing email list that uses a Hotmail or Outlook or a Microsoft 365 account, these rules will now start applying to them. So if you've seen anything change in the last week with your open rates, or people have been reporting to you that your emails are now going into the spam folder, that may be because it wasn't always getting picked up with Microsoft before, but it now is. So they are asking for the same checks as Google and Yahoo were. So you still need to add your SPF, your DKIM, and your DMARC. So if you've got that set up already, the good news is there is nothing new you have to do there. You are all good to go for Microsoft as well. But they have added in one more requirement. They want the return address to be a email address you can send emails to. So what this means is, let's say you're sending emails from hello@yourbusinessname.co.uk. Microsoft want that email address to be able to be replied to. So you can't use a no reply email address. Now, for most small business owners, this isn't going to be a problem. We're not going to have multiple email addresses anyway. We're just going to have the one. And on a lot of the email marketing systems like MailerLite, it automatically sets that return address to be the same as the sending one anyway. But it's always just a good idea to double check if you have maybe changed your email address at any point from when you originally set up your account. Just make sure that that reply address does match that sending one, and is one that people can reply to and is no longer an old account that maybe is no longer up and running, because that will get you flagged into the spam folder. Now, I also want to highlight that technically these rules are aimed at businesses sending over 5,000 emails per day. They're really targeting the people that send out mass emails, the big companies. But I've seen it with my own emails, and I've seen it with clients' emails, that if you do not have these records in place, even if you are sending less emails than that, it can cause your emails to land in the spam folder. So my advice is to just get it set up, because you only have to do it the once. You can get it set up, get it all authenticated, and then you can forget about it. That way, if in the future your list grows, or if the numbers of the emails that you need to send goes down, you're already set up and ready to go, and you don't need to worry about it again. I would also make sure you check your actual email inbox as well. So for example, I use Google Workspace. You also need to set up SPF and DKIM records for them as well. Your DMARC applies to your whole domain name, so it doesn't matter. You only need one of that and it will apply to everything. But SPF and DKIM you need to have for every single platform that is sending emails on your behalf. So that is every single platform that is sending emails using your domain email address. They need to have that SPF and that DKIM record added. Now, if you have any questions about any of this, please do get in contact with me. You can come and join the This Mum Loves Tech Facebook community, or just send an email to nicola@thismumlovestech.co.uk, and I'll be able to help you answer the questions. And any of the links that I've mentioned are going to be in the show notes. Now, one thing that I have learned recently that I also wanted to share with you, because it was affecting me and my emails, and it may be affecting you too, is that if your email address starts with info at, you may want to change it. So it turns out that info at is one of the most common aliases used by spam, and so inboxes are now starting to flag it. So it's not an official rule that anyone's brought in, but I, over the last few weeks, was getting some reports that my emails were landing in people's spam folder, and I was like, I know I've got those records added. So I did a bit of Googling, I looked into it some more, and yes, it's all to do with that alias at the beginning of your email address. So let me quickly explain what an alias is. So an alias is that bit that's at the beginning of your email address before the @ symbol. So you might have Nicola @ you might have info @ you might have support @. Now, all of mine go into the same inbox. So it doesn't matter what someone puts at the front, as long as I've got it set up in my email account to receive emails from that email address, you can have whatever one you want at the front. And then that's the bit you've got to change. So it doesn't matter if you have already authenticated your domain in your email marketing platform, because it's the bit that's after the @. So the alias is the bit that's before the @. So that'd be like the Nicola @. And the domain is the bit after. So @yourbusinessname.co.uk, or in my case, thismumlovestech.co.uk. So that bit's already authenticated, so nothing changes there. You can change that front bit without it affecting the back bit. So you can change it easily and it won't affect any authentication that you've got set up already. It just might mean it gives you another way of stopping getting in that spam folder, because now everybody needs to have a domain email address to send email marketing. I think the kind of systems that are going on in the background have recognized that info @ is just one that spammers are using more often now. So it's just easier if you change your alias at the beginning to something else. So I have recently switched mine to Nicola @. So if you've listened to previous episodes, you may have heard me say info @. I'm now using Nicola @, just to ensure that I get into your people's inboxes, because obviously if you're going to the trouble of sending an email, you actually want to get in that inbox so people can read it. So if you're using Google Workspace like I do, you can have up to 10 aliases on the starter plan. And what that means is in Google Workspace, you have users. Under that user, you can add your alias, and then you just need to make sure that you also add it into the settings of your Gmail account so that you can receive emails from that email alias as well. And then once it's something that once you've got it set up, you can then go ahead and start using that new alias. But the good thing is, because it's an alias, so because both info @ and Nicola @ exist as email addresses, it doesn't matter what people email you from. So if you've got flyers you've had sent out, or you've got posts on your social media that have the old email address, people can still email that one. It's just that the reply, the main email that goes out now, if someone emails me in info @, they'll get a reply back from Nicola @. So just in case anyone has flagged you as a safe email address in your inbox, or there's anything where you've maybe signed up for different email marketing platforms and you do switch it, just be aware that it still counts as 2 different email addresses. So you can sign up to things with both of those aliases. But if you've got it set up the same way I have, it all still comes into the same inbox. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope I haven't totally blown your brain with all of that. So let's just do a little recap just to kind of highlight, because I know this episode is quite techy and I don't want people to kind of come away with it and not knowing what they have to do. So basically what you need to do is make sure, if you're using email marketing, your domain is authenticated. Even if you're not sending 5,000 emails a day, I would just recommend get it done, get it sorted, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Microsoft is now joining in those rules officially. They were following them to somewhat before, but as of the 5th of May, they've released that these are the rules they're now following. And the only difference to the Google and Yahoo ones is that they want that return address to be one that is a live address that people can actually reply to. And then my other kind of bonus tip that I just wanted to share with you is to avoid using info @ possible, as that could also be affecting your deliverability. But once you've got that all set up, you can then focus on building those real connections through your emails. And I don't want this to put you off from getting started with email marketing, because it is such a powerful tool. And this is a one-time setup. So if you can get your head around it, or get the support to get it set up, you can then not worry about it anymore. So if you do need any help, with getting that set up, just remember to grab my free email mode easy guide, which will just talk you through a bit more about why you need, what it is and why you need to do it, and get those first steps sorted. And then if you want that step-by-step training, Spam to Sales is going to take you step by step through how to get that set up. All those links are going to be in the show notes. And as always, if you've got any questions, please come and join the This Mum Loves Tech community on Facebook, or you can email me and I will be happy to answer any questions you've got on this subject. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and next week I am going to be sharing another one of my favorite tech tools that has been a game changer for saving time in my business. Now, if you want to add into the comments any guesses of what you think that could be, but I will be back next week when I'll be sharing all about this amazing tool. So have a lovely week, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode of This Mum Loves Tech.